Hey there, guys. I'm Toby Rudolf, and you're about to listen to the ET Stand podcast. Shaka, brah.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand podcast.
Welcome to the ET Stand, the Cronulla Sharks fans podcast that lets us talking to the football. We are here live. Well, not here live, actually. This is going to be pre-recorded and released on Friday afternoon. An opposition fan preview as the Cronulla Sharks welcome the Sydney Roosters down to Shark Park at 7:50 p.m. on a Saturday. I've been trying to get Tim on, Tim Micallef, the token Roosters fan, one of 17 Roosters fans that are prepared to admit it in Australia and Sydney, on this podcast for a while. He's also works with Fox Sports and Kayo as their media controller. So we'll also, or media manager, Tim, what do we call you?
Media director, as a matter of fact, mate.
Wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to under.
But the demotion's fine.
The demotion's fine. Just like the Sharks are about to get demoted out of the NRL as they take on the Roosters in a week one clash, which brings back memories of Tim messaging me saying, "Yeah, that's right, Boldo. Told you that Tedesco was good." So let's get into it and chat Sharks versus Roosters. Tim Micallef, welcome to the ET Stand podcast.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's been a long time in the works. I've swerved you twice this year, and it's fate would have it. Here we are in week one of the finals, which, I'll take that. It's a good result for both of us.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Now, why are everyone saying that the Roosters are the form team of the NRL right now? What is it, 6 wins on the trot since the Sharks and the Storm losses? Now, what's made you guys so good the last few weeks?
We had that blip against Parramatta, which is...
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? 30-10, of course.
Sort of forgetting after 2 good results. And I think that's the interesting thing with the Chooks this year. When they're on, they're on. They can literally beat anyone. We've got a wonderful young pack. We've got incredible outside backs. You mentioned him before, Teddy. He's having a career best year. And I actually heard some interesting stats on Teddy. I won't get the numbers entirely correct here, but he had something like 4 and 3 years ago, he had something like 11 to 13 try assists for the year. And then in the last 2 years, he's had 24 and 21. 21 try assists this year. And I think his ball playing's been unreal. So, he's got those wobbles out of his game. He's been unreal. He's going to be the Dally M player of the year, no doubt. I don't think anyone's arguing that. And I think we've come into form off the back of Sammy Walker, the forwards, and just better D, to be honest.
So, Tedesco is just the much maligned figure in yours and my text messages, is he, though? He is very, very good. Now, you say that he's got heaps more assists this season, but is that also because the supporting cast that is around him hasn't been as good, so therefore he's had to take more of the creative role and not just be a support player that we've seen in the past?
I think it's a part of it, but I think he's tidied up his ball playing. He's getting into better areas. His passing's just that little bit. He was just a fraction off for a couple of seasons there.
Which is why he got dumped for Dylan Edwards, which I still think is ridiculous.
Well, I think there's a very strong argument, given the way Dylan's playing at the moment, that Teddy plays for the Kangaroos. At the end of the year. That's another topic for another day. But yeah, I think it's a combination of that. I think Sammy Walker unlocks him really well. I think just the fact that we've got these big, strong young forwards, quick play the balls, he's just thriving off the back of it, and he's not trying to overplay his hand. He's been, he's the apple of my eye, but I genuinely think he's the best player in the comp this year, and I don't think there's anyone that even comes close at this stage.
No one comes close.
Yeah.
He is. So when we lost to you we beat you 31-18. In the first time we played you this season, Tedesco just beat us.
Yeah, mate, we had our resis.
Yeah, your Rezzies and Tedesco managed to beat us, which was, was a 42-16. Yeah, we not only got beaten, we got pumped.
Yeah. And it was an interesting one because I think at that point it was you were expected to win. It was Origin. You didn't have any players out through Origin. You were meant to sort of get yourself solidified in the 4. And there's and there's probably a couple of other games. I think you lost against, maybe it was Canberra with the last play of the game and things like that. You just go, that was your top 4, you know.
Well, the loss
I
to the
think
Broncos was the one match that was the 4-point turnaround, was also certainly the top 4.
Yeah. And I think we both deserve to be in the bottom half of the 8 for the same reasons. Is we're inconsistent. You know, one week we can go. The next week, you know, the Chooks got done by Parramatta and then came out the next week and put 40 points and a half against Melbourne. You know, how do you predict that? And they're just a bit up and down.
Oh, it's so annoying you guys losing to the Rooster, to the Eels like that, because now all the talk is, but Parramatta are coming good and Mitchell Moses and all this rubbish. You're like, no, it's just surely the Roosters just lost that rather than Parramatta winning.
Yeah, and we're good at that. We're good at beating ourselves. You know, it's always been it's been a trait of the Chooks for the last 5 years.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just look at this Roosters team here. So Tedesco, Tupou, Billy Smith, Toya, Marky Mark. You can say his name, can't you, Tim?
Nwanga
Nwanga.
You gotta learn it. That man's gonna be
Nwanga. What a player. Hugo Sevillard, Sam Walker, and then the props, Spencer Leniu, Lindsay Collins. She's a pretty handy bookends to have up front.
Yeah. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, not bad. I don't know how I feel about Connor Watson.
Well, it's funny that he's named in the starting team for the 7th week in a row, and I reckon for the 7th week in a row he'll start on the bench, and Aiello will come into the starting team. Yeah,
so Watson doesn't spend that much time at hooker anyway, does he?
Yeah, between hooker and 13. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. And then you got a good old Angus Crichton. Why is Victor Adley now in the 12? Is he now playing as back rower?
I guess they want White in the middle, early doors, bit of extra punch. You'll probably see Radders maybe move into the middle at some point. I'm just looking at it, you know, Wong would go on an edge. Even Egan Butcher can play on an edge, so it might just be to have the big boys up there for the start of the game.
Got it. So Butcher and so I don't know the Roosters pack that or the bench that well. So what Butcher, what is it, Steep and Wong? What's the size of them?
So Sia Wong's big boy, big second rower.
Yeah.
He's actually been starting most of the time. Blake Steep's a big mobile prop. He's a Port Macquarie lad, so he's got a bit of Boyd Cordner about him coming up from the mid-north coast. I mean, and you know Egan, just a big body.
Yeah, he's been around a bit.
Yeah,
got it. Yeah, good team, the Roosters. Maybe the halves are your weak point. Not as respected. I guess that's why you're signing Daly Cherry Evans.
Yeah, but look, Reece Robson coming next year. I welcome that. I don't think we need Cherry Evans. You know, Savala's got a really good boot on him, and he's starting to pick up his ball playing, and he's running, and he's just a dogged big body, defends well, and then kind of lets Sam do his thing. And you know, Sammy's been unreal since he's come back. I think he's like got double the amount of try assists of anyone else in the however many games he's played since he's come back.
And his goal kicking's so good.
Goal kicking's unreal. He's at 97%.
Yeah. So looking back to the match a couple of years ago, Braden Trindle missed a kick when we went 4-0 up, and it ended up coming back to bite us in the arse. In these ones, when it can be tight, certainly that goal kicking is super critical.
And field goals. I have this prediction in my head that Nicho is going to miss a field goal and Sammy's going to ice one, and that's going to be the difference.
All right. Well, you mentioned the great Nicho Hines and the Sharks. He is the most discussed player from the Sharks lineup. Tim and I get together and watch the State of Origin, so we can talk about Nicho a lot. What's your take on him at the moment and recent?
I think his form's getting better. He's definitely improved. The thing is with Nicho, he's a wonderful footballer when his head's right. I think he's picked up his form a little bit. I still don't think he's anywhere near at his best. But you know, if he turns up, then yeah, he can be effective.
So when you look at this Sharks team, what scares you?
AFB.
He's a beast, AFB.
He's a proper footballer. Mate, Blayke Brailey has been unreal. And we're a little bit Harry Grant's done it to us a fair few times, and I reckon Blake's the key to your attack.
The running and just getting out and putting pressure on you from that perspective and being that option.
Yeah. Starting
Look,
out
it is
and getting our props a bit tired because they can get lazy, you know.
Yeah, well, they're good though. Your props, Leniu and Lindsay Collins is good, man. So it's got to be the battle of them, really. It's how they handle AFB and Rudolf, and really the size of the Sharkies. So the Sharks bench was quoted as being 445 kgs the other day. It's I think it might be one of the largest benches in NRL history. That is a big bunch of dudes. You're going to be able to handle the size of the big Sharkies, Tim.
We have enough ball, yeah, but that's the thing. Whoever controls the possession, particularly if you guys do, and then you throw on someone like Talakai, it's going to be hard to stop. Big, powerful ball runner, big bodies. Like I said, particularly playing off the back of Blayke, his little darting runs out of dummy half, inside balls. Will Kennedy floating around. It's dangerous for us.
Yeah, all right. Now, when you hear you got to play the Sharks, are you pleased, or are you like sitting there going, damn it, we got the Sharks? Like the record for the Roosters beating the Sharks the last, 10, 12 matches, so it's pretty good. So are we your bunny? Are you happy or pleased you got drawn the Sharkies?
Yeah.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
Look, to be honest, I mean, who rounded out the 8? It was Penrith and who was it?
Warriors.
Oh, and the Warriors. See, Warriors probably would have been preferred, just given their injuries and their form.
Yeah,
I kind of think that'd be the easiest kill. Happy with you guys though. Penrith would have scared the daylights out of me. I still think that they've got a real hope of winning their 5th.
Yeah, they can definitely win the Panthers, can't they? There's no question. Yeah. They can. It's 4 matches in a row. They've put runs together of 8, 10 wins and stuff. But previously, there's no question. No question. They can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Absolutely no question they can win. All right. Well, looking back to the 2023 match, here's something that I think might be, it's not nothing, which makes it something, is that the Sharkies have got, 12 of the players coming back from that match in 2023, whereas the Roosters are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So missing quite a few more players. The Sharkies are going to remember that you beat us 13-12. What do you remember of that match other than me texting you and getting the shits that we lost?
Hold you, man. I don't remember it at all.
Well, I'll refresh your memory.
We lost.
I knew that you didn't remember that much about it. I'll refresh your memory. You beat us 13-12. It was the match where Tedesco got sin bin because he held down Nicho, and then I think it was Joey Manu went off injured, and so you didn't have any of your outside backs. You were down to 12. And then Kiri was offside or something on a moment, which the Sharks guys are still shooting
that's
at.
right. Yeah.
And I think it was Sam Walker or Kiri. One of those two kicked the field goal at the end. It was quite a win for the Roosters. But I guess when you're just going to say, well, we make the finals every year and it's just a week 1 win and they just seem to forget them. Is that right, Tim? You're just so used to being in the finals.
Yeah, you just got so many to remember.
Yeah, whereas with the Sharks, it's like it's a little bit tougher to remember. Well, I think also the other factor is the Sharks team now is much better than that team. So Royce Hunt is out for AFB. Wade Graham was at the end of his career, and I'm not a massive fan of Cam McInnes. And Jack Williams, God, he always dropped the ball. So and Kennedy's obviously better than Tracy, and the rest of the team is the same, but Trindle's more experienced. Maybe Nicho's not as good as he was. But the rest of them are much of muchness. So I think that puts us in a better shape to.
You've also got Hero at.
We've also got Hero.
We've also Talakai, which is a much better.
Better.
Maybe Talakai was a bit smaller, but yeah, him coming off the bench, Talakai coming off the bench is a bit.
He's just so big and difficult to deal with, isn't he? Just an absolute beast. All right, so give us your tip. What do you reckon is going to happen?
Look, one of the boys at work, he's an avid Shark. Actually, you know him, Ash. He's an avid Sharky fan. I've been
G'day, Ash.
I've been talking up a 40+ win for the Chooks, but hand on heart, I think it'll be tight. I think it's going to be a really tough game, and I just think the class of Sam Walker will get us over the line. I genuinely
Sam
believe
Walker.
it's going to be a few bit. Sammy Walker, yeah.
Class of Sam
I think
Walker. All right.
I think he's come back from his injury and he's got the maturity to win us a comp. Not this year, but I think he'll win us a comp at some point.
And if you're on anytime try scorers, who from the Roosters you reckon bags one just for those punters out there, and gamble responsibly? Because you'd never gamble, would you, Tim?
No, mate. Very, very little.
Very
I only
rarely.
gamble responsibly, very responsibly. But let's say I was having a bet, mate. I reckon Daniel Tupou first try scorer. I think we'll pepper him up against Katoa. I reckon he'll get one in the air.
With a kick to the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
That's what have you got, mate?
I would say Britt Nickera will score one of those angled runs. Nickera.
Can I just say, there's barely a player in your squad that I'd pluck for one of ours.
Oh, really?
But Nickera is a fabulous footballer. I'd have him in a heartbeat. He's very underrated.
Well, obviously Nickera would make your team. Kennedy wouldn't. Be close on the wingers. Ronaldo's the best winger, though.
I reckon Marky Mark might have a say in that, mate.
Yeah, Ronaldo's very good.
Them two up against each other will be a really interesting battle. And
yeah,
the good thing about Ronaldo is he's got a bit of aggression in him. I think he might put Mark off his game.
Yeah. Then we've got obviously Fonua-Blake and Blayke Brailey are going to make the team, and then Talakai would make your team, and maybe Hazelton would be too big to deal with. So yeah, I'd say it'd be a 8-9 split. I've done these team things before. All right, so you're saying okay. All right, we'll see. All right, we might have to clip that up with you predicting that the Roosters are going to win by 40. I can put some social media boosts on it to try and motivate the Sharks, and then they can put it on their bulletin board. All right, well, Sharks fans, let's not let Tim Buddy get his way and have the Sharkies lose. All right, well, we'll take 5 minutes and let's just chat about the status of the game. Obviously, you are much closer to the performance of the NRL and all the teams and the new clubs and all that sort of fun stuff. What sort of shape from a media perspective as a broadcaster are you feeling about the NRL right now as the 17th team worked, as the 18th and 19th and extra teams is a good idea? More people watching rugby league now.
More people are definitely watching rugby league. It's been our absolute standout year. The closeness of the competition this year, I think, new teams, particularly teams like Canterbury. An interesting thing when Kayo launched, Canterbury didn't make the top 8 for the first 4 or 5 seasons. And there's a big supporter base there that we were able to unlock last year, and Canberra doing well this year. The fact that it was open to kind of between 7th and 11 for a long part of the season. Even the last round, you still had 8 through to 10 that could, in theory or mathematically, make the finals. And because of all of that, and because of I think the quality of the game's been outstanding. I think the refereeing, to be fair, has been less involved, would be the way I put it. I just think the game's free flowing, and it's at its absolute best from a broadcast perspective. I'm not going to rattle off the actual numbers, but we've seen record viewership numbers, record sales, and it's just testament to where the game is at the moment.
So when you say sales, you mean subscriptions to Kayo and Fox? Yeah, got it. And then, so the addition of the Dolphins, can you see a new geographical nature of the subscribers, and it genuinely has brought a new audience to rugby league, hasn't it?
I know the Redcliffe story quite well. I was the one that did the stadium deal, the Kayo stadium deal with those guys.
Yep.
And when we went up there to sort of talk about what we wanted to do with the stadium and how we'd brand it and all the rest of it, they took the time to, and shout out to the Dolphins. They are a wonderfully run club with exceptional people working there. They're fabulous to work with, and I can only see that club going in really good. They're going to be a top 8 team for years and years and years. They've got
just been unlucky that they haven't had the maturity and quality in the halves.
Yeah, and before they'd even kicked the ball, what people don't realise is they're the second most commercially viable club in the entire competition behind Brisbane. They've got a really solid foundation around their leagues club. They own shopping centres. They've got a whole lot of things that they've done to make sure that they're financially able to back a rugby league team. They're the only team that you can start in the under fives and go all the way through to first grade. So you can start with the Redcliffe Dolphins and go from being a junior to playing NRL. And their whole thing is, and it's really interesting, you don't really get the sense for it until you go up there. Redcliffe is not Brisbane. Now, Redcliffe is like Bondi to Sydney in terms of how long you'd spend in a car. But they are so adamant that they are not from Brisbane and they hate it. They hate Brisbane. So what Redcliffe's done a great job of is actually shoring up all of the that East Coast where they are, but all the way up to central Queensland. They've got a huge junior base that they've expanded into up there. And, that strategy is paying off for them. And, we see really good numbers. When, genuinely a Broncos-Dolphins match is a huge W for us. So, they've been a great addition. And like I said, they're just so well run. I've only got the best things to say about that club. And I really do wish them all the best for the coming seasons because they have been unlucky.
So, Tim, another question I've got for you is, as a broadcaster, thinking about the number of matches that is played in the NRL. So the 27-round season, it just seems when you compare it to the NFL, which has got, 18 rounds with one bye, it just feels a little long and also impacts and wear and tear on the players. Well, could the NRL survive as a 17, 18-week, 20-week competition? What's the real benefit of those last 5-6 matches?
Commercially, yeah. They would have to take a hit commercially, but it could still work. I think it needs to be as long as it is because even now teams don't play each other twice. So to have a fair draw and a fair competition, if you reduce those games and you're unlucky that you're one of the teams that have faced Melbourne twice in a year or the Panthers twice in a year, that could really skew teams' chances of making the 8. And I think you need all that. Everyone talks about wear and tear on players, but there's 30-man squad. They can. You and I are both big football fans, and we look at how many games they play and how many times they rest players, swap players out. I think it's the coach's job to make sure that. And Penrith have done it wonderfully for the last 4 years or 5 years, in that you can bring someone in, they can slot straight into the team. I think rugby league, we don't appreciate that enough, that you can swap and bring in other players to do the same job. And I think, I think it's from a fairness standpoint around the draw, it needs to happen. Commercially, it probably does need to happen too.
Well, I just always like the idea of 2 conferences of 10 teams, a Sydney conference and an out of Sydney conference. And so you play the teams in your conference twice, and then you play half the teams from the other conference once on a 4-year home and away rotation. So then the Broncos and the Sharks only play each other once every 4 years or something like that. It makes more of an event of it. And then you also get the Sharks versus the Bulldogs, the Sharks versus the Roosters, the Sharks versus the Dragons twice in a year. You get the Dolphins versus the Broncos twice a year. I think that's a better way of organising it. Some people will be naysayers. What's your take on conferences and NFL style?
Maybe I'm a bit too traditional. I'm not a massive fan of it. Having said that, my concern around those sorts of things in the past was that the Sydney comp would be too strong, and you're kind of making it harder for teams in Sydney that might have made it if they're in the other conferences. Having said that, that's not the case now because look at how good a lot of the teams are outside of Sydney. So, mate, I don't hate it. It's kind of like it the way it is. I want to make sure that we get a game against Melbourne. And
You're just not a bloody change person, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm boring, mate.
It is boring. It's like, just keep with the same damn team, same damn things, same mates. All right, fair enough. All right, well, we've gotten a bit of brainstorm off you. Thanks for coming in, Tim, and dropping by for this opposition fan preview. The Sharks take on the Roosters, 7:50 p.m. live on Kayo Sports or Foxtel. Don't worry about watching it on Channel 9, eh, Tim? Oh, I've got one extra question for you, actually.
Yeah, okay.
Sharks fans can't stand Dan Ganane.
Can't stand Dan Ganane?
Can't stand him.
He's one of the best callers.
Yeah, can't stand him. I think he's anti-Sharks. I don't know what it is. the Sharks fans just Dan Ganane just does our head in. Whenever we see Dan Ganane, I'm like, oh, Dan Ganane. Do you like Dan Ganane? Well, I guess you're going to say that, Fox, you know.
I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of his before he was even on Fox. So there you go, mate. Well, I'm surprised by that. I think he's one of the great callers. Actually, speaking of callers, who's in form at the moment?
Vossy's absolutely on form.
He's so in form. Ennis get
I like
together.
him and Ennis. I like him and Ennis. That is your best. That's the best combination.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And Kronk's really, obviously very good. My problem with Ganane is he tries to be a play-by-play commentator, but then also a skeptic and a commentator from the perspective of, giving his personal opinions on Shark Park and those sort of things. And if you come out and taunt Shark Park as the play-by-play commentator, then it's a little bit hard to listen to you as a person describing the play-by-play on Nicho Hines. I find that a little annoying.
Well, that's fair enough. I mean, you got to remember too, he does a lot of radio broadcasting as well for Triple M. So
yeah. So coming for you, Dan Ganane.
I love you, mate.
I love you too, Dan Ganane. All right, that was the ET Stand podcast. Tim Micallef, Roosters super fan, will no doubt be sending me text messages during the night on Saturday night, which is tomorrow night as we record this. Thanks, Tim, for coming in. I don't thank you for your tip. We'll be live right after full time. It will be Franco and me on the debrief for you Sharks fans. So to celebrate a Sharks victory, get involved in the show. Comment, like, subscribe, all that sort of fun stuff. And if we lose, well, we'll just be grumpy buggers, won't we? So we'll see how we go. It'll be one way or the other, either way. So up Cronulla, and we'll see you guys after full time on Saturday night. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, mate.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.